Situational awareness is the perception of environmental elements and events with respect to time and space, the comprehension of their meaning, and the projection of their future status. In simpler terms, it means being aware of what's happening around you, understanding what those observations mean, and predicting how they might evolve. For private detectives, security officers, and firearms students, especially in Georgia, where various environments from urban centers to rural areas pose unique challenges, situational awareness is a critical skill. It is more of a mindset than a technical skill, and it can be practiced by anyone with discipline and training. By staying aware of your surroundings and potential threats, you can spot developing dangers and proactively act to avoid or mitigate them. In this training, we will explore the 5 levels of situational awareness and how they apply to security and investigative work. These levels range from total unawareness to hypervigilance. Understanding each level will help you recognize your own state of awareness and adjust it as needed. We will provide clear explanations of each level: tuned out, relaxed awareness, focused awareness, high alert, and comatose, and give real-world scenarios for each. By the end, you should grasp why maintaining a low to moderate awareness, relaxed or focused, is optimal for clear thinking, and why being at the extreme ends, tuned out or in panic, signals a need for further training. Let's begin by outlining the 5 levels of situational awareness. Here is a color-coded chart of the 5 levels of situational awareness. This framework, often taught in security training, ranges from tuned out, at the lowest level highlighted in the chart as the color white, up to comatose, the highest extreme, outlined as the color black. The middle levels, relaxed awareness, highlighted as yellow, and focused awareness, highlighted as orange, are considered optimal for most situations that require balancing alertness with calm cognition. Based on the chart, being in high alert or tuned out for too long can be detrimental, while comatose represents a state of inaction under extreme stress. People generally operate in one of 5 distinct levels of awareness. On the screen are the 5 levels of situational awareness, with an explanation of each. Being tuned out is the lowest level of awareness. When you are tuned out, you are not paying attention to your surroundings at all. You might be distracted by noise, personal thoughts, music, phone notifications, conversations, etc., and not 100% aware of what you are doing. In a tuned out state, you may be on mental autopilot. For example, many people experience this while driving on a very familiar route and suddenly arriving at their destination with little memory of the drive. In security terms, a tuned-out person is vulnerable. They may miss critical cues of danger because their mind is elsewhere. This level should be avoided when you are on duty or in any environment that could pose a risk, since being caught daydreaming or complacent can lead to disaster. This is a calm but alert state of mind, and it's the recommended default level for safety. In relaxed awareness, you remain aware of potential danger or threats in the back of your mind, but you are still able to continue normal activities, like having a conversation or doing routine work. You are paying attention to what's going on around you without feeling tense. A classic analogy is defensive driving. You are enjoying the drive and maybe even listening to music, but you're also watching the road ahead, maintaining a safe following distance, and observing other drivers' behavior. This state isn't mentally exhausting and can be maintained for long periods, allowing you to enjoy your day while still being ready to respond at a moment's notice. For a security professional, relaxed awareness might mean casually scanning the environment as you patrol or stand post. You're not paranoid or on edge, but you're vigilant. This level allows clear thinking and quick assessment because you're alert without being overstressed. It strikes a balance between vigilance and calm, so you're prepared for dangers without the fatigue or tunnel vision that higher levels can cause. This is a heightened state of alertness and concentration. At focused awareness, you are 100% concentrating on a specific task or potential threat. There is no room for distraction. It's comparable to driving in hazardous conditions like heavy rain or on an icy road. You grip the wheel with both hands, turn off the radio, ignore your phone, and zero in on the road and hazards. In a work context, you enter focused awareness when a situation appears potentially dangerous or requires your full attention. For example, when responding to a security breach or tailing a suspect through a crowded area. This high level of focus is effective for short periods and allows you to react more quickly to threats, but it is mentally and physically taxing. Because it demands total concentration, staying in focused awareness too long will exhaust you and can even lead to mistakes as your mental energy depletes. With proper training and experience, some tasks that initially require focused awareness can eventually be handled at a relaxed awareness level. In other words, training can make certain responses second nature, so you don't have to remain in a stressful focused state for too long. Focused awareness is a level you shift into when needed, but ideally you return to a relaxed state once the immediate challenge passes. This is an acute state of alarm, typically induced by a confirmed, immediate threat or a sudden change in your environment. At high alert, your body's adrenaline surges. You might feel your heart pound and a jolt of energy or fear. This is the fight or flight mode, when something has gone very wrong or danger is imminent. For example, high alert is what you experience the moment you realize a car is about to run a red light into your path, or when an intruder lunges at you. In this level, you are hyper-focused on surviving or managing the threat, and you can still function. You hit the brakes, you dive for cover, or you take immediate defensive action. The adrenaline can actually sharpen your reflexes and strength briefly, which can help in an emergency. However, there is a downside. In a high alert state, your primitive brain, the amygdala or lizard brain, can take over, which reduces your ability to think logically and can impair fine motor skills. You might experience tunnel vision or auditory exclusion, not hearing other sounds, because your body is purely in reactive mode. High alert is not sustainable for long. It's meant for critical moments. If you find that you frequently jump to high alert over minor events, that's a sign of anxiety or inadequate training in threat assessment. In professional terms, you want to avoid being in high alert unnecessarily, but when true danger strikes, you want to be able to elevate to this level briefly and still maintain control over your actions. Comatose is the extreme opposite of tuned out on the spectrum. It represents a state of overload and inability to respond. At this fifth level, you freeze and cannot act or react to stimuli. This can happen in two very different ways. Either you are literally unconscious, asleep, or you are conscious, but in a state of shock so severe that you are paralyzed by fear. In a critical incident, this is often called panic-induced paralysis. Your brain shuts down processing because the situation is overwhelming, and you lock up instead of taking action. You simply cannot react to the reality of the situation when in a comatose state. Unfortunately, this reaction is not uncommon. Victims of violent crimes or disasters often report that time seemed to slow down, and they felt frozen, unable to move or think, as events unfolded. For a security or investigative professional, reaching a comatose level in a crisis is obviously dangerous. This means you are effectively out of the fight and incapable of protecting yourself or others at that moment. Comatose is the level we most want to avoid through proper training. If someone hits this stage under stress, it indicates their mind was not prepared to cope with the threat. The goal of situational awareness training is to prevent the comatose response by teaching you how to recognize threats early, manage stress, and take deliberate actions even under pressure. The importance of training and optimal awareness. Understanding these levels is not just an academic exercise. It has practical implications for how you train and conduct yourself on the job. The goal for professionals is to stay in the optimal zones of awareness, relaxed or focused, during normal operations, and to avoid the problematic extremes unless necessary. Tuned out, high alert, and comatose are red flags. If you catch yourself frequently in any of those states, it indicates a need for improvement and further training. Avoiding tuned out and complacency. Good training instills discipline so that you don't slip into a tuned out state in inappropriate environments. For instance, using an ATM at night or walking to your car in a deserted parking garage are times when you should absolutely not be tuned out. If you are, and a sudden threat appears, like someone ambushing you, you'll struggle to respond in time because it's hard to jump directly from level 1, tuned out, to level 4, high alert. It's like trying to shift a manual car from first gear straight into fifth, causing it to stall. Regular training and mindful habits help you maintain at least a relaxed awareness in situations that demand it. This can include simple practices like periodically scanning your environment, keeping your hands free, not buried in a phone or in your pockets, and mentally noting points of cover or exit routes whenever you enter a new space. By practicing these habits, even experienced professionals counteract complacency and ensure they're not caught off guard by a threat that they could have seen coming. Managing high alert and stress responses. On the other end, If you find that when something unexpected happens, your mind goes blank or you panic, that is a sign you need more stress conditioning. Situational stress training, such as scenario-based drills, force-on-force simulations, or even guided adrenal stress exercises, can help inoculate you against the freeze response. Even seasoned officers and investigators must continuously train under realistic conditions to keep their edge. It's often said that under stress you don't rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of your training. If your training is minimal or has not taught you how to handle an adrenaline dump, you are more likely to hit the comatose level when faced with real danger. The good news is that training can greatly improve your ability to cope. By experiencing controlled high-alert situations in training, you learn to fight through the adrenaline surge, maintain cognitive function, and execute your practiced responses instead of freezing. This means that when a real critical incident happens, you are able to stay in focused or high alert without tipping into panic, and return to a calmer state once it's over. Staying in the optimal zone. Professionals strive to operate mostly in the relaxed, and occasionally focused, awareness range during their work. Relaxed awareness can be maintained indefinitely, without the fatigue and stress of higher levels, yet it keeps you in the game mentally. You enjoy normal life or routine patrols, but you're also prepared. Training helps make this second nature. For example, a well-trained bodyguard might appear at ease while escorting a client, chatting and smiling, but internally he's continuously observing hands, body language, and environment. He doesn't look tense, and he's not mentally exhausted after an hour, because this vigilant, calm state is something he has practiced. If a potential threat is detected, say he notices someone following them, he can level up his awareness to focused or high alert as needed. Then, after resolving the issue or confirming it's a false alarm, he can dial back down to a relaxed state. Continuous training and experience builds this fluidity, allowing you to smoothly shift up and down the gears of awareness appropriate to the situation. The ability to think clearly through evolving situations comes from confidence in your skills and a conditioned mindset that neither underreacts nor overreacts. Train, train, train. Finally, remember that training is a never-ending process for maintaining optimal situational awareness. The environment, the threats, and even your own mental state are always changing. Regular refreshers and advanced training ensure you don't develop bad habits like complacency, and they also introduce new scenarios to test your reactions. Training can help prevent disasters, as our introductory presentation noted, and it's important to conduct continuous training over time. Even veteran security professionals schedule periodic drills, scenario walkthroughs, or coursework to sharpen their awareness skills. By doing so, they keep their mind and senses tuned, avoiding the low end, complacency, and being better prepared to handle high-stress events without freezing. In summary, the more you train, the more prepared and confident you become, and the more likely you are to remain in that ideal zone of relaxed or focused awareness when it truly counts. Situational awareness can truly be a lifesaver in private security and investigative work. By understanding the 5 levels from being completely tuned out to being in a comatose freeze, you can self-evaluate and strive to stay in the productive middle ground. Operating in a state of relaxed awareness by default, with the ability to ramp up to focused awareness or high alert when needed, will enable you to continuously assess situations and think clearly even as they evolve. Conversely, finding yourself at the extremes, daydreaming when you should be alert, or panicking when action is needed, is a sign to invest in further training and practice. Remember that situational awareness is a mindset that requires continuous effort. Even the most experienced detectives or officers must guard against complacency and overconfidence. By regularly training, engaging in mental what-if scenarios, and staying disciplined about observing your environment, you will improve your ability to remain aware and respond appropriately. This not only helps in detecting and preventing security threats, but it also boosts your personal safety and effectiveness on the job. In conclusion, make situational awareness a habit. Keep your mind tuned in but calm, ready to respond but not overreact. With the right level of awareness, you'll be able to spot dangers early, make better decisions under pressure, and avoid the fate of either missing critical cues or freezing when seconds count. Stay safe, stay alert, and keep training. These are the keys to professional success and safety in the field of private security and investigation.